Honorable members of the committee, je constate qu'il y a quorum.
I see quorum. Pursuant to Section 106(3), as the clerk of this committee, I will proceed to the election of the chair and the vice chairs. I'd like to inform all members that the clerk of the committee can only receive motions for the election of the chair. It cannot receive any other motion, cannot hear points of order, nor take part in debates. We will move now to the election of the chair. Pursuant to Section 106(2), the chair must be a member of the governing party. I'm open to any nominations. I move Mr. Mellett.
Nominate MP Souza.
It was moved by MP Mallette that Mr. Souza be elected as chair of the committee. Are there any further motions? Donc, je vais maintenant soumettre la motion.
Yes, it is carried. Mr. Souza is duly elected chair of the committee. Please take your seat.
Thank you all. Great to be here, and I really appreciate all of you attending. Of course, there's members around this committee who have participated in this role before, and some who are new have quite a bit of experience and understanding of the file. And so that's very welcome in regards to what we're going to do going forward. I'm also very encouraged by the intent of the committee and what collectively we as government want to do to support the Canadian Armed Forces by way of funding, by way of engagement, by way of many recommendations made around this committee in the past. So congratulations to all of you for all your hard work. And I very much am excited about collaborative, cordial engagement within this committee to move things forward, because I think we'll all share the same concerns. And I've worked alongside many of you from both sides, and you guys are all good people, so I look forward to that. I think our next order of business, however, is to elect a vice chair so that we can get into the formal aspect of the committee. So, Cheryl Gallant.
Yes, I'd like to nominate James Bazan for the official opposition in the position of vice chair.
All in favor? Anybody else? It's unanimous. James Bazan, welcome once again to the role of vice chair. I have a few instructions to read, if I may.
There was also the second vice chair.
Oh, I am sorry. There is the second vice chair as well. Mr. Bazan.
Pleased to nominate for second vice chair Simon Pierre Savard Tremblay.
All in favor? Congratulations. Well, thank you for being the second vice chair. All right, I'm going to begin, if I may, in a formal capacity. Welcome to meeting number 1 of the Standing Committee on National Defense. Before we begin, I would ask all participants to read the guidelines written in the updated cards on the table. These measures are in place to help prevent audio and feedback incidents and to protect the health and safety of all participants, including the interpreters. You'll all notice a QR code on the card which links to short awareness video. Today's meeting taking place in a hybrid format, and I'd like to remind participants of the following points. Before speaking, please wait until I recognize you by name. Members, please raise your hand if you wish to speak. The clerk and I will do our utmost and our best to maintain a consolidated speaking order. And a reminder that all comments should be addressed through the chair. With the agreement of the committee, we can proceed for the consideration of routine motions. You would have received this prior. There's a lot of motions there, quite a bit of reading to be done. Can we, yes, Mr. Bazan?
Based on the fact that our whips have negotiated this with all parties, and it was agreed to be put in force with all committees, I would move that we adopt routine motions as presented.
All in favor? It is passed. So now with the routine proceedings and the routine, as a reminder, I should say,
You can invite.
the analysts are nearby. If you can please join the table. So this brings the meeting pretty much to a close because we have put the motions forward. We have now gotten our orders and our procedures underway, and we normally would adjourn at this point because matters are done. Mr. Bazan, I think you've shared something with us.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd just say that in the interest of everything that's going on in the National Defense File, from the announcements of new spending, trying to meet the NATO 2%, announcement of the F-35 review, the AAG report that we just saw on the F-35s. There is some work that we can start with, and I would like to move that the minister and officials be invited to appear for 2 hours on the main estimates referred to the committee on May 27th, 2025, and the supplementary estimates A referred to the committee on June 9th, 2025, and that this meeting be televised.
So I think that motion requires 48 notices, right? 48 days. Yeah. So
we could, as we were talking about future business, you can bring forward any motion to do future business, and I think that it would be prudent for us to talk about what work we want to get going with. We got 1 day left this week that we can have the ministers here. I've talked to a parliamentary secretary about availability. I'm sure she could inform us whether or not the minister is available or not. I'd also would suggest that we should pass some motions, Mr. Chair, to ensure that when we come back from our summer recess, that we have an agenda that's ready to go, that you can arrange witnesses with the assistance of the clerk and the analysts so that we can start our work and hit the ground running in the fall.
just a moment. Yes, Sherry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I have had a conversation with Mr. Bazan and checked with the minister, and unfortunately he is not available this Thursday. So, but I understand that according to this motion, it's to invite him, and he would love to come. So it's just a question of finding a time that works.
Are we in committee business or can we go on camera at this point? My impression is that we would be in camera at this point because we just passed, and I did want to have an open discussion with our team. Yes?
Tout d'abord, est-ce qu'en premier lieu, on pourrait...
First off, could we receive the motions that we're discussing?
He has to receive the motion.
Pourquoi?
Receive this motion. I have this one, which is what was just distributed now.
But we got to file.
Yeah. That's what I thought we were going to be talking about. So are we okay to go into camera, Sherry?
Well, normally, we just passed routine motions that clearly stated that any motion or notice of motion needs 48 hours notice. We're not actually in committee business, but if it is the will of the committee to do so, normally committee business, we would move into camera, but it's up to the will of the committee.
Right. Just trying to be respectful to the team in our first meeting. I do want to be collaborative. I understand the concern about having people be accessible. We are aware that we want to make the minister and others available to us. Unfortunately, I know that they're not available right now, so that's going to be a bit of an issue. But I do want to collaborate. Maybe there's other things that we know we need to be done, threats and issues before the country. We want to make sure the minister is available as soon as possible. But I'd like to go into camera and not publicize some of the discussions that we're about to have, if that's okay. Yes.
There's a motion on the table right now, and the motion is the motion that Mr. Bazan just moved. So we have to finish that motion.
I'm trying to understand if the motion's eligible, given that we haven't had 48 hours. That's the point. We're not in committee business, right?
So you want to move in camera?
Yes.
And then what are we going to do?
And then we're going to discuss things a little bit more openly, I think, without being political and without playing film studios, right? That's all I'm trying to get. I'm trying to avoid, I want us to keep this in decorum.
Committee has been, Mr. Chair, to deal with motions in public, so that, we don't want to be behind a veil of secrecy on things, just trying to plan ahead for future business and allow, Canadians to see how serious we take our work here on supporting the Canadian Armed Forces and dealing with the challenge that we have with national defense.
That's it. Sorry. Yes, Simone.
Je sais pas au strict niveau.
I'm not sure legally, but I would have preferred us to receive this so that we could have been prepared for the ministers' meeting. I would have preferred to receive this ahead of time, as it would usually be the case.
I missed that because of the volume. But I think your point being that we should be prepared to have the minister appear, and without having prior opportunity to advise the minister, that is problematic. The reason I'm suggesting going camera because we're not in committee business. As a chair, I don't see this as being committee business because we just passed motions of routine saying you need 48 hours. I'm trying to be respectful to the members to have this dialogue, and I would like us to do this in camera if we may, if everyone's in agreement.
Need a motion.
Someone put forward a motion to go into camera, please. Chris moves that we go into camera.
So this would technically be a dilatory.
Motion, we go straight into a vote. And clerk, do you want to take the vote?
Madame Romanado?
Moi, je voudrais juste comprendre si c'est un vote sur.
I'd like to just understand what we're voting on. Is this on the motion, or what are we voting on?
OK.
Can you repeat that, please?
Demander.
I was wondering if the vote was on a motion or on going in camera. It just went by so fast.
To proceed into camera. And if you're in agreement, we would all vote for that.
No?
Oui.
Miss Lapointe?
Oui.
Mr. Mallette?
Yes.
Mr. Watchorn?
Yes.
Mr. Bezan?
No.
Mr. Anderson?
No.
Ms. Gallant?
No.
Mr. Kibble? No. Monsieur Savard-Tremblay?
No.
Total yeas pour 4, 4, nays contre 5, 5.
So the issue, is this working? Is we are not in committee business, right? So I'm trying to make certain that we proceed accordingly, and we have 48 hours to put forward motions. I would encourage that to be the case as we go forward, as we've just passed our routine proceedings.
Mr. Chair, then I will put my motion on notice as I just read it in, and we'll make sure that we circulate it. So this is your notice of motion, so we can deal with this on Thursday. So that the minister and officials be invited to appear for 2 hours on the main estimates referred to the committee on May 27th, 2025, and supplementary estimates A referred to the committee on June 9th, 2025, and that this meeting be televised. That motion is on notice. Okay?
Understood.
Go.
Est-ce qu'elle nous sera envoyée, madame?
We will receive that?
Yes, Ms. Glant.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'd like to put a motion on notice, and that given the committee members, staff, the clerk, analysts, and witnesses worked hard to produce the report entitled Gaps to Fill Housing and Other Needed Supports for the Canadian Armed Forces Members and Their Families during the first session of the 44th Parliament, and given that the government did not table a response because of the prorogation of Parliament, the committee deem that it has undertaken and completed a study on gaps to fill housing and other needed supports for Canadian Armed Forces members and their families pursuant to the Standing Order 108, and that it adopt that report as a report from this committee. Pursuant to the Standing Order 109, the committee requests the government to table a comprehensive response to the report. Supplementary or dissenting reports that accompanied the report in the previous session of Parliament be tabled with the main report, and the chair present the report to the House.
Mr. Bazan.
Mr. Chair, I want to give notice of motion based upon the transparency study that we had worked on in the previous Parliament and had tabled that report in the House, and a government response wasn't given. So I table that given that committee members, staff, the clerk, analysts, and witnesses worked hard to produce the report entitled Rebuilding Trust, Transparency, and Accountability in the Department of National Defence and the Canadian Armed Forces during the first session of the 44th Parliament, and given that the government did not table a response because of the prorogation of Parliament, the committee deemed that it has undertaken and completed a study on rebuilding trust, transparency, and accountability in the Department of National Defence and the Canadian Armed Forces pursuant to Standing Order 108, and that it adopted that report as a report from this committee. Pursuant to Standing Order 109, the committee requests the government to table a comprehensive response to the report. Supplementary or dissenting reports that accompany the report in the previous session of Parliament will be tabled with the main report, and the chair present the report to the House.
Ms. Glenn.
Mr. Chairman, I think you're going to like this notice of motion because Standing Order 108-2, the committee conduct ongoing briefings from the Department of National Defence and the Canadian Armed Forces, Global Affairs, and other expert witnesses to receive information regarding the threat analysis affecting Canada and our allies, and the Canadian Armed Forces' operational readiness to meet those threats, including support for international security operations and emergent threats, as well as domestic capacity to respond in support of civil emergencies, and that matters related to logistics, procurement, and personnel be included in these briefings.
Any further? Yes, sir. Mr. Anderson.
I'd like to make a notice of motion that the committee invite the Minister of National Defence and the Secretary of State, Defence Procurement, to appear before the committee for no less than 1 hour each within 14 days of the adoption of this motion in relation to their mandates in NATO defence spending.
And so a number of motions have been put forward.
Got more here.
Okay. So you're using your motions as your 48-hour rule, right?
Yep. These are all notice of motion. Mr. Chair, that the committee invite the Auditor General to appear for no less than 2 hours to discuss the second report of the Auditor General delivering Canada's future fighter jet capability. One more.
Mr. Kibble.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and congratulations on your new position, and thanks for the kind welcome. I would like to put on motion notice such that the committee invite the ombudsperson for the Department of National Defence and Canadian Armed Forces to appear in September for no less than 2 hours. This motion is on notice. Thank you.
Any further motions before I adjourn?
Notices of motion.
Any further notices of a motion, correct?
Just one clarification. We will have Thursday committee.
That is not for certain. We have yet to find agreement with the whips to ensure, so we may not have a Thursday meeting, but we appreciate the notice of motions, and we'll determine when the next meeting will be held. Meeting adjourned.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chair, I'd just say that, the House is sitting on Thursday. We are sitting right till Friday. So I would hope that as chair, you want to make sure that we are working and being productive, knowing that this committee has not met since December. So it would be a great opportunity for all of us to get to know each other a little bit better by having a meeting and further discussing committee business, so that when we come back in the fall, that we have an agenda and a plan moving forward to address the challenges that we're facing and the threat environment that we're currently experiencing.
And I would say that the members around this committee, the chair included, is very concerned about the threats and assessments as we go forward. There's a lot of work to be done on all of our behalfs to ensure that we solve and encourage government to proceed in its mandate as we put forward. I am also sensitive about the resources and availability to have some of those individuals and some of those reports and motions that you put forward. We'll do our utmost, I think, collectively to try to achieve that. But this committee needs to work for the benefit of Canadians, for the purposes of the Canadian Armed Forces, and that, to me, is my priority. Meeting adjourned.